Hi there, I'm David Gray. I'm a director for security consulting and I work for NTT Limited as our security division of NTT. I am the global lead for our digital forensics and incident response team, and I also run our UK business for bespoke security operations centres. So where clients have got a need for something a little bit more unusual from the standard security operations centres. So my career within security, I guess it really goes all the way back to when I was at school many years ago. I always had a fascination with computers. So back then I was using stuff like Sinclair Spectrums and things like that. Always had a love for it and programming, but I joined the military and kind of got away from computers and security for quite a while. As part of the Air Force, I was doing telecoms. Fortunately, I got the opportunity in my career to join what was at the time the UK's Defence Computer Incident Response Team. That was about 2007. So I started off doing intrusion detection, working shifts, learning all about TCP/IP and intrusion detection back then. From there, I kind of moved into malware analysis and forensics again as part of the Air Force. When I actually left the Air Force, I moved into consulting and did some jobs with various defence contractors before ending up doing a senior consulting position with RSA. So that was building out and designing security operations centres and SOCs, as well as the incident response. And then about 3 years ago, I came over to NTT Security to actually help build out part of their incident response capability that we had. So there was already a capability within the United States, but they wanted to be able to expand that out into Europe as well. And that's kind of where it brings me up to today. I'm now the global lead for digital forensics and incident response worldwide, but I also have responsibility for some of our bespoke operation in the UK. So that's SOCs, where maybe a client's got a specific need that wouldn't fit into a sort of standard sort of cookie cutter type security operations center, that kind of scenario. So my role, it fits into two pieces. There's the digital forensics and incident response. So as I say, I lead the global team. So from that perspective, I'm responsible for all of the engagements that NTT deals with as a whole as regards to digital forensics and incident response. That includes everything from proactive planning sessions with our clients to help them improve their security posture, through to the more traditional blue light activities that I think most people are familiar with incident response. So I do pretty much everything from designing the sales initiatives to actually helping push sales and the contracts as and when they come through. And as far as the UK team as well, I have a bit more hands-on, giving them support as well, obviously with me being based here in the UK. Some of the other regions, we have regional leaders as well, and they take over that sort of piece from me. So that's the DFIR side. The other sort of part of my role here at NTT is on the bespoke SOC side of things, or as we call it, our security operations consulting practice. There's two elements to that. There's where we have SOCs that we've built out for people that have maybe a specific tool set that is a little bit unusual, or they want something like a hybrid SOC where they want to hand over when their staff go home at the end of the night, or they want to have higher skilled level 3 forensics malware analysts, that kind of thing. And the second part to that part of the business is also helping our clients actually build out and design their own security operations centers. So where either they've got something in place and they want to increase the capability, we can come in and help with implementing new solutions, the overall tools and capabilities, or even down to processing procedures, which everybody loves, but you've got to have them. I think the closest I can get to 3 words is exciting, fast-paced, and unknown. And the reason unknown is because you never know what you're going to get in incident response, ever. So for an incident response plan, the first thing that really makes them effective is, for a starter, that people actually know that there's an incident response plan there in the first place. There's so many organizations that don't have an incident response plan, or if they do, they don't even know what it has within it. So when something actually happens, it's pointless, because it doesn't exist. Or even worst case scenario, there's been a ransomware attack, and it just happens that the server that the documentation on has just been encrypted as well. So therefore, you have no incident response plan. But so that's the first one, that there is something there, that people are aware of the document, and that you've had buy-in from multiple areas within the organization, so that everybody knows what's going to happen when an incident happens. From an analyst's point of view, it's really important that they know the criteria that they've got in an incident for when to escalate it. You know, what the actual priority level is for an incident, what the criteria is to, as I say, to escalate that maybe to level 2, level 3, or whether this is going to be called out as a crisis. Obviously, that then moves up to more of a management level, but there should still be within the incident response plan the elements that the managers and the board have to be able to deal with. So who's going to talk to the media? Is there already an insurance policy in place? The number one thing that we're seeing at the moment is obviously ransomware, and that's probably the biggest attack. But have the organisation decided how they're going to deal with ransoms? Are they going to pay up, or if not, how they're going to cover that? And have they got cyber insurance in place? So I guess those are probably the biggest one. But for me, it's number one, having an incident response plan, knowing what it contains, and then ultimately testing it to make sure it works and that everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing when it happens. Because when you need it, you won't have the chance to be able to run through in the nice sedate fashion that you would want to be able to do to understand it. So the issue with cybersecurity is massive. There's just so many different areas. I think a lot of people get drawn into the likes of incident response or penetration testing as the sort of areas that are visible from the outside world. But I think the sort of SOC work is probably a good starting point to be able to understand security and what threats are themselves. So I think for anybody starting out in cybersecurity, having some kind of hands-on work within a SOC is a good place to understand the threats. And especially if it's somewhere that you're doing shift work, that you've got quieter periods during the evening or night shifts, it just gives you that extra time to be able to do all of your research, to be able to understand how TCP/IP works, TCP/IP, what makes DNS tick, understand all of the protocols, what normal is, so that when you're looking at something and it's not normal, that gets your little alarm bells ringing and you start to think, what's happening? The other thing that I think is a really good thing for people that are getting started in the industry is play around at home. If you've got access to VM or any other virtualized platforms, build a rig at home. There's plenty of opportunities and tools out there to be able to build test rigs, attack the box and things like that for penetration testing, and just have a play. I mean, I still love this job because it's still fun. I love going to work because you never know what's going to happen. So it's a good opportunity to. It's a job, yeah, but it's fun doing so. As far as resources for getting into cybersecurity, there's a lot of the training sites have got really good research on it. So CREST themselves have got some excellent advice for people that are starting out in the industry. There's a US organization called SANS. They have excellent webinars that they run, as well as lots of free collateral for understanding what cyber threats are. So those are probably two of the best resources. The other one that I use is Twitter. Twitter is amazing for cybersecurity. It's find some people that you're interested in that you find get a lot of use out of as far as knowledge sharing. I personally listen to people like Brian Krebs. Read his articles. I also listen in to the Daily Sands podcast, which is giving you news that's happening every single day. But there's so many podcasts and webcasts that are out there. The presentation that I did for CREST, it's something that's actually been really dear to my heart for a number of years. I just haven't really found the way to be able to convey the message. So it came about going right back to the very start of my career. I would be responding to malware incidents when I was in the Air Force coming from other nation states. And we were detecting them. We were being able to respond to them and stopping the threats. But there was always that little voice at the back of the head that, is this everything? Is this what we are supposed to be finding? Is this easy, or all these sort of questions? So it was a couple of months ago I came across an article, and again, it's because I'm ex-Air Force. I'm still kind of interested in things that come out of World War I and II, and all the history that goes with it. And there was a gentleman there, and I won't spoil the secret. It's all in the presentation. Go and have a look there. But it was dealing with how in World War II that aircraft, they were trying to figure out where to actually put armor onto the aircraft, because they want to stop them getting shot down. But the people that were looking at it didn't have the entire picture, because they were trying to look at it from where all the bullet holes were in the aircraft that had come back. Whereas obviously the ones that didn't come back are the ones that we should have been focusing on. So my presentation was kind of flipping that from a military perspective in wartime to us in the cyber community, and dealing with what we have for what we know, and kind of where we should be looking at areas that we don't know. And for me, I try to always think, is this everything that we found, or am I missing something? And I think that's probably a really good mindset to have in our industry. If we start believing every single thing that we're seeing, what's the point in having us as consultants? Or machines can do that. That's why they have us.